Not every race has to be an A race. There's plenty of use for the other letters in the alphabet, like B, C, D. I don't know if you can have a D race. So, training has been going brilliantly. After a little bit of an injury in September, I took 9 days off, got back into my training, and I've had a few weeks now where I'm hitting 12, 14, even 15 hours of road running. Last weekend, I had one of the things that I like to do in my training, and it's a race as a long run. It was 35k. It was in the mountains, so it was a bit longer than a normal road race. And Natalie, my wife, was racing the day before, so it's just an easy way to get a long run done. In the build-up to something like a marathon, you might have some 10Ks, some halves, or even a 20-miler. It's quite a popular distance before a marathon. In Ireland now, I think they've got the 3-quarter marathons that are popping up every now and again. There was a few this last weekend. In a block of training geared towards a 24-hour race, I like to put some B races in the build-up. So these can be anything from a trail race in the mountains, a bit further out from my main event, or something super specific like a 6-hour looped course, which I've got this weekend coming up. And probably that's the longest I'll go, like a quarter of my main distance, and even that, it's quite a big hit on the body. And with any of these races, the one thing that I always keep in mind is they're not all-out efforts. These aren't like my A race efforts where I'm burying everything to get to the finish line as hard and as soon as possible. It's part of my training towards the bigger goal further down the line. This also means I might enter into these races tired, without a taper, on the back of a decent week of training and without much recovery afterwards, which has to be taken into account as well. B races are a great opportunity to practice things like your pacing, your fueling, or even like at the 6-hour race I've got coming up this weekend, your calling strategies and working with your crew, because Sarah Jane Pugh, who will be helping me out in Taiwan, is going to be there this weekend as well, mainly because her partner Jamie is also running. But we'll be working on that kind of crew-athlete relationship in the course of a race. We've worked on some events together before, but anything that's going to make it easier on the main race day is worth doing. You can also practice things like carb loading in the week beforehand, your race day breakfast, your meals the night before, all these little things that are going to be beneficial to improve or work on and just check and run through before the big race itself. The other benefit of events like this is you can practice with your kit. So what I might do for the race this weekend, I'm not going to wear a full GB kit. That would be an odd move, I think. Be a weird flex in an Italian 6-hour race. But I might wear the shorts, just because these are a key bit of kit for a 24-hour race. And it's kind of integral to check that there's no chafing, that they don't fall down when you get them super wet or anything like this. So I might wear my shorts this weekend that I intend to wear in Taiwan, and then just probably my club kit, but making sure that I don't chafe in anywhere really, because chafing's not nice. The 35k race I had 10 days ago was a really, really enjoyable trail route. It's the Adamello Ultra Trail. We did the 35k there, and it's just further out from a race, like a 24-hour race, you can get away with getting on the trail a bit more. As long as you know that, one, it's not going to knock you for 6 the week after, you're not going to get some serious DOMs. And two, you don't mind getting a bit of a battering from the trail runners that you might usually be a bit closer to. This wasn't really a problem in Adamello, because on the start line I looked round and there was Andreas Reiterer, who was second at the World Champs. So any delusions of victory were soon diminished by seeing that man at the start line and watching him and a group of others just disappear up the hill. And me and my tired little road legs were happy to see them go, actually. The other thing I practiced at Adamello was my nutrition. And what I did is I pushed things a little bit in terms of the amount of carbohydrates I take on an hour. I was intending to go like 115, 120 grams an hour. Because of the amount of fluid, carbohydrates I had in my drinks, I ended up taking about 130 grams an hour, which wasn't something I was able to process over the course of that race. So about 2.5 hours in, I had some real stomach issues, some nausea. Everything was just sitting in my stomach and I couldn't get rid of it, and I just overloaded the system. So I got to the final checkpoint. I was I was quite slowly sick, and then I got overtaken by the chap in 6th. And then I headed off out down the final descent, which was a lovely 9k with 1,200 metres of downhill. And actually did catch up with the chap again towards the bottom. It wasn't through trying, actually. I was just trying to get to the finish line. And we had a bit of a burn-up towards the end, which probably didn't help the week after. But it's one thing to take into account with any of these B races, that you are making sure that you can train the week after. But that might be that you just have a few easy days. You might use the bike for a couple of days if you know that your legs get particularly beat up. But it also means that when you're picking a B race, if you're not used to more mountainous racing, chucking in something with a massive descent at the end might be a little bit detrimental to your training the week after. One of the other reasons I like having a few races in the schedule towards the main race is it just takes a bit of that pressure off. You're not going into it with all your eggs in this one basket. Okay, you're not focused on these other races, but you've done something with the last couple of months beforehand. You're getting a chance to kind of scratch that itch when it comes to racing. I love to race. I get to run with the club a few times, sometimes as well, and it's just being part of that community. It's important. I think you can get lost training for one race and just kind of focusing just on that. Being able to go out to practice, to make mistakes, to laugh and see your friends in a racing environment, I think can be really beneficial. And the last thing, you can practice all those psychological techniques that you might not bring into your training because you're not quite going as deep. Even over 3-4 hours of a B race, a training race, whatever you'd like to call it, you're going to get to those points where it gets a bit tougher. So it's quite nice to be able to go through that and remind yourself that you are strong, both physically and mentally. If you enjoyed this video, please do subscribe, and I'll have some more coming out in the next couple of weeks. We've got some guests coming to train with us, which would be lovely as well, and maybe changes from it just being my face behind the camera, and we might even get some live running shots. Blimey, imagine that in a running video.